How's it going, everyone? This is Pete Wall, your resident Angry Viking here on Pillar to Post. I want to welcome you all for joining me. Now, this is just a little bit of an update, what's going on, and how things are coming along with the whole writing. Today, I would like to proudly announce that I have completed Dragon's Gate Part 1. That will now be going through the editing process, and then I will be reviewing it again after the editor has taken care of her part, and I'll make any revisions and such, and then hopefully by May 1st it will be ready for publication. As you guys know, like it's right there on the screen, Wasteland was just recently published, and as soon as Wasteland was completed, I believe it was like April 29th that we published, I was hot on the track of getting part 1 of Dragon's Gate completed. I can't believe how quickly it came to me, and just was able to just let it out and write. You know, it was an amazing feeling. It's been a long time since I've been able to write like that, and I want to proudly say this time around there was no paper to pen. I typed it all out myself, and you know, I kind of made the wife proud that I took that upon myself to do, because in the past, like my wife Shannon, she is my editor, and in the past I've always been a paper and pen guy. The story had to come out and it would go on paper first, and then it would go to her and she'd type it all out, and then she would do the editing, and it was a lot more work for her. Now, Dragon's Gate, it's book 2 in the Circle of Steel series, and the reason why I went about doing it in 3 parts. One, I didn't realize how long it's been since I published, and I felt really bad for it. You know, I thought I was on a nice roll when Dragon's Kin came out, and I ran into this roadblock so consuming that I couldn't find a way to write. That writer's block came about due to health issues and a lot of stress. You know, watching other family members going through a rough time, death of a family member. You know, it seemed like everything was going in the wrong direction. And one day, a good friend of mine, Mark Malero, also known as New Icon, also known as Bomb Pop Overdrive here on YouTube, he sent me a message asking if I wanted to take part in his Halloween-themed post-apocalyptic book called Korgatu 4. And at first I was kind of like, I don't know. You know, I've never written that style before. And 2, it had been so long. And I was nervous. I didn't want to disappoint him. Finally, I said, sure, why not? I'll do it. Give me a little bit of time. He said I had a certain amount of time. It's like perfect. And then the second request came after Korgatu 4 came out for a Christmas edition of Korgatu, and I was like, I jumped on it. You know, it was starting to make things click inside my head, and my confidence was building back up. So to be able to do book 2 in the Circle of Steel Chronicles, as well as do 2 short stories for Wasteland, You know, I don't want to sound like I'm bragging, but I'm proud of myself. You know, I used to always strive to have others be proud of me. You know, especially when it's an older brother or a father. You know, you want them to have a certain amount of pride in what you've done in your life, and it's an accomplishment that is self defeating. That's what I came to realize. You have to take pride in what you do and in yourself before you're going to be content and happy with what you've done. So I had to push those thoughts out of my mind and start looking at it through my eyes. What's going to make me happy? What's going to make me proud? What's going to give me that sense of accomplishment? And it helped. It helped me get into that mind space to get back into writing, you know, with the help of Mark Malero and then with the authors of Wasteland. It just all started clicking again. Now, the Dragon's Gate, part one, two, and three, they're basically novellas. Okay, it's not a full novel. Part one is about 50,000 words. You know, and so it's roughly about 160 to 180 pages. So it's not a big book. And I'm doing it in pocket size format because one thing I've always liked is to be able to grab a book, be able to put it in my back pocket, or if I'm wearing cargo pants, slip it in one of the large pockets and walk up to a park or somewhere where I can be alone. Just open up the book and enjoy. Now, this is a copy of Wasteland, you know, and I find that just a little bit big for, you know, just to fit in a pocket or just carry it comfortably, you know. And if you look at Dragon's Kin, it's the same way. Now, this is a full novel. You know, a lot of work and a lot of time went into Dragon's Kin. And I love the book. But there's going to be special editions coming out. I'm going to be asking a good friend of mine to redo the cover for me, as well as he'll be doing the cover for the next Wasteland, as well as Dragon's Gate. Dragon's Gate will have a cover that fits all three of the books, part one, part two, and part three. But there will be one thing that is interchangeable, so that way each part has its own little separate thing. You know, it's been a long road to get back to here. And when I sit and I read what I've put out for part one of Dragon's Gate, I am so happy. It really is starting to set up to a wonderful climax for book three, or for, I should say, part three. You know, parts one, two, and three, it's all about setting up for the final book and bringing this whole story into a climax that will, I'm hoping, just blow the mind from the readers. You know, it's my dream to really put something in their head that they can say, wow, that was a good book. You know, And to me, it's, book one was all about introducing the main characters and the secondary characters, and letting you get to know them as they start their journey, letting you get to know their adversaries and the issues that they would be going through in this story. Dragon's Gate, it's to further that, but also bring you closer to the edge. And I was able to introduce more characters in Dragon's Gate Part 1, and the ending for Part 1, it will be leading straight into Part 2, and shit's gonna really pick up in Part 2. Part 3, it's just gonna blow all to hell. And then for the final book, Dragon King, it's going to be a challenge to get to where I want it to go. And I'm hoping I can do that by building this climax with Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3 of Dragon's Gate. Now, the plan is to bring out Dragon's Gate Part 1 on May 1st. And then from there, I'll be taking a week off while the book's being edited, and getting ready to start a series for Monolith. Monolith is the publishing house I spoke of earlier for Korigatu, as well as many others. And it is a series that's coming that is totally different than what has been published there thus far. And I'm very proud to do it. I don't know how long the series is going to be. It might be only 6 issues. But that will be done along with Wasteland, or as I'm calling the next book, Wastelander. Those will be done roughly around June. And then I'll be going right into working on Part 2 of Dragon's Gate, which I'm hoping to bring out around September. And then come Christmas time, then I would like to have Part 3 completed and published and ready to go. And then I'll be also doing a third Wasteland for the series, also wanting to bring that out in December. So there's a lot of work ahead of me. I want to thank all the people that have supported me throughout all this, and not just my wife and family, but the people here on YouTube, as well as my friends that I've made along the way. Without you guys and help me with that extra push, I don't think I'd be accomplishing this as quickly as it's been coming, and being able to do Part 1 and then work on a separate project and then go into Part 2, it's going to help me so I can, I don't lose the momentum, because it's all about the same story I'm writing. So in this way, I believe what I'm going to be doing for Monolith, it's going to be a 6-part series, and then next year I'll be doing another one. But it's just gonna help me stay from becoming stagnant. It's also going to help me stay away from adding too much description in the story. I've always been a writer where I want to allow the person reading it to also use their imagination to step foot in my world. Give them enough description to help them envision what I am thinking, but also be able to use their own imagination to create some of that world on their own. And I want to stay true to that. So, as you can hear, I've got quite the schedule. Now, my presence here on YouTube will not die. I enjoy doing RWO. I always have. I always will. It will not be when I would like to, as well as for when you would like to. And there's going to probably be changes that some people will like and some people won't. But all in all, I will always stay entertaining in one fashion or another. And to me, writing and allowing people to read where my imagination takes me, it's a feeling. It's a feeling most people won't understand unless they experience it themselves. That's why I've also opened up the floor as well as the door to anyone that wants to join Wasteland. You know, being able to hear some of the writers, you know, say how proud they are that they've been published and that others are reading their work. You know, it's a it's an it's a feeling that just can't quite explain. And I'm going to say it again. If you want to become a writer for Wasteland, please contact me. You can contact me a bunch of different ways. You can contact me at steeldragon1234 at hotmail.com. You can contact me on Skype. You can find me under the same email address, as well as if you were to type in, I believe it's Pete Wall / Sebastian Kane. You can find me on Facebook under Pete G. Wall. You can find me on Twitter under Pillar to Post. You know, it's there's many different ways to find me. If you want to get involved, don't shy away. Okay, you know, I know some of the writers that got involved for Wasteland, the first edition. They were a little bit worried and a little bit, you know, their confidence wasn't at their highest because they were worried about how people would critique their work. Don't think about it that way. Okay? That is, you know, the worst thing that you can think of while you are trying to tell a story. What are others going to think about it? Worry about that when you've got it done. Once your story is done, go through it again. If there are things that don't make sense, rewrite it. You know, if you think there needs a little bit more of a pop to it, give it that pop. Ask advice. But don't ever be afraid. There's no reason for it. You know, it's writing. It is a skill. But any dummy can tell a story. It's just how you tell that story. So take a chance. You know, you want to get involved? All you got to do is contact me. Find out what the story needs to be about. Okay? And it's simple. Post-apocalyptic world setting. Earth has gone to shit. There are mutants out there, so there can be anything. Hell, New Icon's version was basically a high-tech kind of post-apocalyptic world. So my Wasteland is not the same as everyone else's Wasteland. All it needs to be is a story that's based in a wasteland type setting, a post-apocalyptic world. And as you know, in that kind of setting, anything can happen. So don't be shy about what you write on. Okay? Just make sure that it's legible, it's a good read, and if you need help, you ask. Now, when it comes to Dragon's Gate Part 1, we're furthering the story from Dragon's Kin. So we start off where we left off. And that is, well, see right here. I've got it right in front of me, so why not use it? So basically, Solon, who is the main character, as well as Nora, get pulled into an alternate realm, as well as Solon's brothers, or at least some of them that he's found. Two are injured, and they are brought before the Great Red Dragon known as Thorin. And he keeps Solon's brothers safe and heals them and sends Solon and Nora back to complete their journey. So that is where it starts off. It all starts off with them being back in the valley, where they thought was moments, was actually probably a couple of weeks, because time works different in the alternate realm. And they begin their mission, and it starts off hot right away, where they are under siege once again, or I should say being hunted by the undead warriors known as the Huntsmen. Now, if you haven't read Dragon's Kin just yet, I'm hoping I don't spoil anything from you, but or spoil anything for you. But during this attack, the more of the experiments that have been worked on by this dark wizard come forth as well. They are known as the Broma. The Broma is an attempt to recreate dragons, but that are controlled by this dark wizard. And they did not come out quite right. They don't have wings. They're smaller. They're about the size of a horse. Their hind legs really short, and their hips are very narrow in the back, but they the Broma are very wide and muscular in the front, and their heads resemble a twisted form of a dragon head. Very mean creatures, albeit controlled by evil. So there you go. But Nora and Solon run afoul of these creatures, as well as the huntsman, and Solon discovers a new part of who he is during this attack. So that is how it all begins. Once again, that's chapter 1. I'm not going to even disclose on what's going on in the prologue. And without giving anything away, I talk about the exploits and the travels and journey of the other characters, mainly Xander Allen, the wizard of the first file within the story. Now there are, I think I haven't quite done all the work yet, but there are 4 files at at the moment. Being of the first file means you are of pure-blooded descendant, and the most powerful wizard. And then you have a former dragon rider in Caleb and his companions. And then you have the brothers beginning their journeys as well, before they are all brought back at the end of part 2, where they will discover Drakengard, or the translation, Dragon's Gate. So that is what is basically going on in Dragon's Gate Part 1. Part 2, like I said, everything starts to climax. Part 3, it's just going to explode and lead you straight into the Dragon King, which is book 3 of the series. I've also been working on a prequel to everything that you're going to read in the Circle of Steel Chronicles. So I'm hoping that I can bring that out probably next year. But this year, it's everything for Dragon's Gate will be completed. Those 3 parts, they will be in pocketbook format. And then early January, there's going to be a special edition coming out. And it will be a hardcover that includes all 3 parts, making it into a complete book. And that'll be up for sale in January. So big plans. Like I said, Dragon's King will be redone and in a hardcover format as well. It's been requested multiple times, so I'm going to do that. And then it's next year. It's the Dragon King, the final book, the final chapter in the story, maybe. Um, it's been a hell of a year already. Some good news, some bad news. I am right now happy to be writing again. That is what I'm all about right now. Doing what I did and still do on YouTube, it helps a lot. Writing seems to have helped so much more. And I missed that. I missed being able to write and tell a story. So I want to once again thank all those that have supported me. I want to thank you for the continued support. And to all the readers out there that have purchased Wasteland, gear up, because Wastelander will be coming in probably June. So if you want to be a part of that, make sure you contact me, folks. Get your story out there. And what I do for Wasteland is I give every author a free copy of Wasteland. And, and they have my appreciation like you would not believe. Now, next year, I also plan on starting offshoot series from Wasteland. Those will be probably 6 editions to each series, and it will be done by one author. They will pick a character, characters, and turn that into a series. Each part will be about anywhere from 1,500 to 3,000 words, and then at the very end of that series, they will all be combined into one book as a special edition. But like I said, a lot going on in the House of Wall. Big Dog Publishing looking to grow. If you have stories that you want told and to be brought out there, but you need some help, make sure you contact me, and I will be glad to help. Like I said, Shannon is my editor. She does a fantastic job, and I'm looking to expand. So if you have something out there, you just need that final step, talk to me. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you very much for joining me for this little sit-down chat and update on how things are going. Like I said, Dragon's Gate Part 1, May 1st. That is the hope. That is the dream. I'm just now waiting on the editing, which will be about a week. And then the cover design that New Icon has graciously accepted to do. And it's on to a whole new series. And then we'll be diving back into Wastelander, as well as Part 2 in Dragon's Gate. Have a great night. Have a better tomorrow. And once again, thank you for sitting down with me and having a good talk. I'm out of here.